home, just make sure you've got your weight. Just remember, I'm talking to them at home too. So I just have really light weights. They're only 2 pounds.
Okay.
And the people who are here, I've just given them a squishy ball. I know some of you, came in person and you definitely remember the squishy ball, but probably don't have it at home. Don't worry, you don't need it, but I'll just be giving instruction for multiple things.
Okay,
if you do have one,
yeah,
then definitely grab it because I'll be using it.
okay.
But I'll be giving lots of instructions for different things. And then just because the people here can't hear you at home, I'm going to mute everybody. But if you have a question, then of course just unmute. Doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter what time of class it is, but I've just muted everyone and you can unmute if you have a question though, okay? Okay, but I want to get started because I want everybody to have the full time. So, but I'm Blythe, we're in Pilates. Everything should be really safe, or we're in Pilates and yoga blend, but we do a lot of Pilates. We're gonna start actually standing today, different than usual. And everything, as a reminder, should be really safe. Thanks for coming in here and at home too. And I'll try and make sure to answer to everyone wherever you are. So I've got my weights and squishy ball, but you can just use a really thin pillow if you're at home. So let's start near to the back of the mat and make sure there's lots of space in front of you. We're gonna just start by bending our knees just a little bit and then tuck the chin and just slowly roll down, taking a forward bend, feeling a stretch on the backs of the legs, and then with bends in the knees, just roll all the way back up to stand. Once you come to stand, just roll your shoulders back and together just a couple of times, and then we're gonna do the same thing. So start to tuck the chin and bend your knees, just rolling down, fingers towards your toes. Bend your knees as much as you need, and then just rolling back up to standing and start to roll your shoulders back and together just a couple of times again. Good. This time, adding on, bending your knees a little bit so it's easier on your back, just rolling down. When your hands come to the ground, you're just going to walk your hands forward so that you end up in a downward dog. So the hips will be high towards the ceiling and the head is just down and the neck is long with the rest of the back. Then we're going to start to bend our knees a lot to come into tabletop. So hands and knees. And then start to kick your right leg back behind you and the toes will be on the floor. Then you're going to start to lift the right leg, straight leg, and then tap the toes down to the ground. Lift the leg, straight leg, and tap the toes down to the ground. Keep going. Try and keep the leg really long. Now, the next time that your right leg is up, you're going to keep it up and then let the right leg come open to the right and then just back in. Open to the right and back in. 3 more times. 1, try and keep the height. 2, and this is the last one for 3. And then bend your knee back down to the ground. Between sides, let's just lift up into high knees. We don't need our weights for now, just wrists beside you. You're gonna lift the arms up and then let them come down. Just turn to the camera, lift the arms up and let them come down. Take 3 more and then we're gonna keep the arms up. Good, 2 more times. Good, last one, hold the arms up. Just make some circles just with the weight of the arms for now. We'll definitely add in extra weight coming up, but you probably already feel that the weight of your arms really does give you a challenge when we hold them up for so long. Try and just hold the arms up for 4 more circles. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then fold at the hips back into table. You're going to extend your left leg long back behind you and start to lift and lower your left leg here. As we take this, we're getting our strength through the whole back of the left leg, left glute and hamstring. And then try and let your shoulders just be pulling back from the ears, making sure that there's no like relaxing in the upper back. That when the upper back relaxes, then the shoulders kind of like curl forwards to the ears. Try and keep the shoulders back so that we have that strength in the upper back. The next time the left leg's up, hold it there. Let your left leg open wider to the left and then just back into center. Open wider to the left, keeping a straight leg, and back into center. Now try to keep the arms really long. Try to keep your right thigh bone really still. So as the left leg pulls out to the left, keep the right hip from moving. We want to keep really steady there, and then it will strengthen the core more to keep really still at the hip. Good. Now the next time that your leg pulls in, you'll just bend your knee to the ground. If you've got weights, find them, lift back up into high kneeling, and then we'll start to just lift the arms up and down. So just like before, but now with added weight. If it feels like a lot of weight, you just place your weights back down to the ground, no problem, just like we practiced. First, the weight of the arms is truly a lot. The next time that the arms are up, hold them there. Now just keep the upper arm bone still, just bend at the elbows. And then you're gonna do one arm at a time, push forwards and then pull back. Other arm, push forwards and pull back. So just one arm at a time. And hopefully you can feel the strength really start to pick up in the upper back as your elbows glide back. I like to just do one arm at a time when I've got my weights. If you're feeling like you want extra, you can do both arms at the same time. You'll feel it much more challenging, or you just do one, up to you. We'll keep doing it for a little while. So you can either go one arm, then the other, or both arms together. I don't mind what you choose so long as the rest of the body is steady. So if both arms are moving, be really careful that the back isn't like, you're not taking like big arches like that or anything. You're keeping the back really still. One more either arm or two more with both arms. And then let's place the arms all the way down beside us. Just go back to lifting and lowering the arms, trying to get a balance of strength throughout this class. Arms, back, glutes, core. We're gonna get it all, I hope. Try and take two more lifts and then just hold the arms up, hold them, don't let them drop, just hold them still, just hold them still. You can have weights or no weights. Try and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let your arms come all the way down. Take your weights down, come back into tabletop. With a bent knee, we're gonna lift the right thigh bone up, knee flat with the ceiling, and then knee back under the hip. Lift, keep going on the right side. It's just the thigh bone lifting up flat and then back down. So when we take these lifts, it's a similar strength for the back of your leg as we would get in our bridge, but we're just getting strength for our arms, core, and back at the same time. So we're really starting off strong here. The next time the leg's up, hold it, and then just start to pulse the thigh up. So the knee will just lift an inch and then lower the same inch. It's a really small movement. The knee can't lift too high while keeping the back really still. So keep in mind that you just want to keep the back very steady. If you have any soreness at the wrist, you just do the same thing on your forearms, and it's truly the same for the back of the leg, but you just take any pressure away from the wrist. So either or, you're going to get strength in your back, core, and hamstring and glute. Try to hold for 3 more pulses, and then you're going to keep the leg up. Don't let it come down. Start to move the thigh in circles now. Big circles. Don't let the left thigh move though. You want the left thigh really still, especially as you're like building how big the movement is. That's when the left thigh bone can wiggle a little bit. And then just go the opposite direction with the circle. Not done yet. Just keep the same movement, but opposite direction. Try and push into the forearms if you're on your forearm so that the chest is lifting away from the ground. Make sure you can't see back behind you to your thigh behind you. You don't want the neck to drop down, just looking to the ground. I hope you feel this a lot in your right leg. I certainly do. Try and take 3 more circles. Last one. Let that knee come all the way down. Lift onto your hands if you're not there yet. And then take your right leg forwards and out wide. So your toes are in line with where your hands are. Then reach your right arm up to the ceiling. Hold there, just get a stretch. And then let your right hand come down. Keep your legs the same. Let your left arm reach up, stretching on the inside of your right leg. And then let your left hand come down and then slide that right knee back in. Starting on the left side, left thigh bone lifts and then comes down. You have a bend in the knee, lifting and coming down. Keep going like that. Try and keep the shoulders drawing back. Because we were just on our hands for so long on the other side, you might come onto your forearms like right away on this side, whatever feels best for your wrist. No need to be on the hands if it's any soreness on the hips, on the wrists. Just like we were doing on the other side, we want the rest of the body really still, especially the opposite hip. So right now we have left leg moving. So the right hip would be very, very still. The next time that your left thigh is up flat with the ceiling, hold it, and then start to post the leg up. Make sure that as your knee lifts, we're not getting any dips of the low belly. We're keeping the low back really long. As the thigh lifts up, it's a lot of work. It looks like, oh, no problem. We're just moving the leg only the tiniest amount, but it is a lot of work. Remember to rest if you need, but then just come right back into it. Keeping those shoulders back. If you're on your forearms, really pushing into your forearms so the chest is lifting. If you're on your hands, really pushing into the hands so that your chest is also lifting. Then hold your left leg really still, then make circles, start them slow so that you keep the control, making sure that the right hip doesn't swing or the right thigh doesn't swing again. This option is really good on the forearms. Do whatever feels best on your body. Getting a lot of work for glutes right away. Make sure that you're breathing and not holding the breath. Just stick with it. Start to circle the leg the other way. Same circles, just other direction. Try for 4 more circles, almost done. 2 more to go. Good, last one. Let that knee come all the way down. Come back up onto your hands. Now let's take our hands forwards of the shoulders. So it's not quite tabletop, the hands are forward. Then we're gonna just let the hips slide forward so that you're in a plank on the knees and the hands, but we really want the belly to be lifting so that the back is long. Now we're gonna tuck our toes. We're gonna practice lifting from knee plank to full plank. We're gonna try and lift both knees up. Make sure that the back doesn't like change shapes as the knees tap. It's hard. We're gonna let the knees tap down. Don't let the back swing. And then we're gonna let the knees lift up, keeping the back really long. Knees tap down. Keep the shoulders back from the ears. Knees lift up. 2 more times. Knees tap down. And knees lift up. That was 1. 1 more. Knees tap down. And knees lift up. This time when the knees come down, keep them down, elbow squeeze in, lower all the way to the floor. Now, if you have really light weights, you can use them beside you. And I just have the 2-pound weights. Palms are gonna face up to the ceiling. Press the hips down. Lift the chest up just a small amount so that you can breathe and stay there. We're gonna start to lift the arms and take them down. Lift the arms and take them down. When I lift the arms, they're not really lifting that high. Don't worry about how much height the hands get from the floor.
Did we forget to stretch the left leg, Blythe?
Did we stretch the legs?
Leg.
No.
Yeah.
They're asking me at home too. I don't think that we stretched the legs yet. Pardon? Oh, did we stretch the right leg? Oh yeah. Oh, I remember now. Out to the side. That's good remembering. We'll come back to that. I'm glad that you reminded me. Now, the next time the arms are up, hold, and then let the arms come out wide and then pull back in. Here I am just thinking, oh, we are doing only strength. Arms wide and in, arms wide and in. Try and keep the palms turning up to the ceiling. As like the whole time the palms are up towards the ceiling. Try and take 3 more. The neck is long, so you're looking at the floor. Last one. And then let your arms come all the way down. Now take your arms up. So you've got that cactus or goalpost shape. And then we're staying on the belly. We're lifting the chest up again. We're gonna lift the right arm up. And then you're gonna push the right arm forwards. You're gonna bend the elbow back and place the arm down. Left arm lifts up. Pushing the left arm forwards and then pulling it back, lowering it down. Right arm lifts, presses forwards, gliding back and down. We're just looking to the ground so that the neck is comfortable. Keep going 1 arm at a time. Now we practiced this when we were in our high knees with our weights, with both arms moving. So if you would prefer to have both arms pressing forwards and then gliding back, I still like to place them down between reaches. So up to you, 1 or both arms moving, gliding forwards and back. Our chest is only up so slightly so that we have enough space so our noses aren't squished down on the floor. Let's take 2 more. Either 1 on each arm or both arms gliding. And then you'll lower the chest down. You'll bring your hands in by your ribs. Now we're pressing to tabletop to do the left leg stretch. We're taking the left leg way wide to the left. And then you're gonna reach your left arm up and you got a bit of a twist. Then we're gonna let the left hand come down, reach the right arm up. And then this really stretches the inside of the left leg. Good, let the right hand come down, slide the left leg in, and then we're just gonna sit back towards the heels and we're gonna come all the way, you're gonna let your ankles come to the side and then slide the legs forwards. Any way you like, you can come to this position. Now, if you have a squishy ball at home or here, We're going to slide the squishy ball right behind the low back, and we're going to bend our knees and lean back just slightly. If you don't have the squishy ball at home, you just lean back a little bit. The ball just helps to give a little bit more support though for your back. So make sure if you don't have it, you don't lean back too far. Either way, don't lean back too far. Arms reach forward, shoulders are just behind the hips. And then we're gonna let the arms open wide, and then the arms just pull in. Arms open out wide, and arms pull in. Try and let the chest be lifting forwards quite a lot. So we have no rounding of the upper back. Now lift the arms straight to the ceiling and back down. Arms both reach straight up. Upper arms kind of hug beside the ears. Keep going like that. Keep letting the chest be lifting up. If it feels like a lot at your low back at all, especially if you don't have any support behind the back, then you just sit up more. No matter what, even if the squishy ball is there, if it feels like a lot, you just sit up a little bit more. The next time that the arms come forwards, you're gonna hold them there, palms to the ground, back to a rowing action. Both elbows glide back and they stay up, and then you push them forwards. Both elbows glide back and they stay high, and then you push them forwards. Elbows are towards the height of the shoulder, so it's not like super high up, but just trying to keep the whole arm kind of towards shoulder height. Okay. Notice if the fronts of the hips are really like tightening up a lot to help hold your body in place. Try and let it be more through the core muscles that are keeping the back really long. Try for 2 more. Good. Last one, hold the arms back and then make circles with the bent elbows. So upper arm bone is just circling, slow and steady here. Good. Getting work for our back and our core. Good work. Try for 3 more. 1, 2, and 3. Catch the legs, just lift yourself up. And we're gonna take the ball out. We're gonna put the ball off to the side. We're gonna come down onto our forearms. So we're only leaning back halfway and we're on our forearms rather than lying all the way down. If there's any injuries on the shoulders, then you can lie all the way down to the ground. We're gonna lift the legs up one at a time into tabletop. So the knees are right over the hips. The thighs are not close to you like this. I just wanna show the knees are over the hips. Point the toes, start with marching. Tap your foot to the ground and lift. Tap the other foot to the ground and lift. So it's alternating. Try and let the knees come far forwards from the hip. Try and lift the chest up a lot so that the upper back doesn't round. If you're holding your breath, just take deep breaths. Try not to hold the breath. If you're holding your breath, when the heel or the toes are coming to the ground, then just let the foot come halfway down. The weight of your leg coming forwards is a lot, even without the foot touching the ground. And try and keep the leg the exact identical shape, that same 90-degree shape. You're just letting all the movement happen at your hip. Keep going. Let's take one more on either leg. It's good if you are feeling the work for the core. Now you're gonna place one foot to the ground, then the other. You're gonna extend your right leg long on the floor and you can flex at your ankle. We're gonna do leg lifts. We're gonna lift the right leg up as much as we can without rounding the back, and then just lower the leg down. We're gonna lift the leg up as much as we can without rounding the back, and then we're taking the leg down. Keep going, lift and lower, lift and lower. The next time that the leg is almost touching the ground, don't let it touch the ground, just let it hover and start to pulse the leg near to the bottom. So the heel will be around the height of the hip and then a little bit higher and then just back down to the height of the hip. And it will be work through more at the low belly and as well at the front of the hip. You're gonna end up feeling it. Take 2 more pulses like that. And then bend your knee, foot down to the ground, left leg long, flexing at the ankle. Try and really lift the chest up and then start to lift your left leg and lower. Remember, if it feels like a lot on your shoulders, or even if it feels like a strain on the neck, if it's uncomfortable to be like this, then you just lie onto the ground and you do your leg lifts with a flat back on the ground. Try to keep your leg long, not really bending the knee too much. We're gonna take 3 more like this, and then we'll go to the pulsing. 2 more to go. This time, don't let the heel touch the ground. Just start to pulse the leg, tiny lifts. Good work. Try to make sure to not hold the breath. Try for 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bend your knee, foot to the ground. Let's lie all the way down now. And then we're gonna lift the legs straight back up into table. So 1 leg at a time, back up into table. I just want the back to be comfortable on the ground. Now squeeze your legs together all the way and then let your legs tip over towards the right just a little bit so that the left obliques work. Hold them steady and then slowly lift your legs back up to center, just knees over the hips. And then let your legs come over to the left. We're letting the legs just tip until you feel the strength through the right obliques and then lift back up to center. Keep this really slow speed. Legs tip over and slowly lift. Legs over to the left now, holding steady. And then just slowly lifting. 1 more either side like this. To the right, lift back to center, to the left, good, and back to center. Now hold and center, legs are in table, reach your arms to the ceiling. Wrists are gonna be over the shoulders. This is really gonna add the challenge. Legs are gonna tip to the right, try and keep your wrists right over top of the shoulders. Try not to let the arms swing to the left as a counterweight. Hold the arms steady and then lift your legs back up. It might mean the legs don't come as far to the side. Legs to the left. Keep the arms really still. Watch out that the arms want to move to the right to hold you. And then lift back to center. Keep going over to the right. Arms are still, wrists are over top of the shoulders. And then back up. Legs over to the left, arms are still. And then back up to center. Let's take our arms to the ground. Take 1 foot to the ground, then the other. Now we're gonna use the squishy ball if you've got it. And we're just gonna place it between the inner thighs. If you don't have it, just have your feet hip distance apart. Heels right under the knees, arms alongside the body. If you have the squishy ball, you're just gonna hold a medium grip on it, just squeeze in a little bit. Then we're gonna start to lift into our bridge lifts, hips up towards the ceiling, and then back down to the ground. Hips up to the ceiling, and back down to the ground. Keep going. The lights are just bright in here, so I'm gonna turn them down over your eyes. So just bridge lifts up and down. Try and have weight pretty even throughout your feet at the heel and across the ball of the foot, like behind the big toe over to the baby toe. So we're getting strength through back to the legs and glutes, and just a little bit of movement through the back as we try and keep control, lifting one bone of the back up at a time and then rolling down the same one bone at a time. The next time that the hips are in your bridge, hold there. Keep looking just straight to the ceiling. Neck is long, and then we're gonna lift both heels off the ground and take them down. Lift both heels up off the ground and take them down. Keep doing your calf lifts. We're strong through the legs. If you've got the squishy ball, try and squeeze in on the squishy ball so that inner thighs are really active. Try to keep your neck relaxed as the head is resting on the ground. Try for 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let your heels come down and then lower your back all the way down. Keep the squishy ball there if you've got it. Grab your weight. Let's reach our arms to the ceiling, wrists over top of the shoulders. Now we're gonna let the arms open up out to the side, and then let the arms just close back and wrists over the shoulders. Let the arms open out wide to the side, and then let them close and wrists over the shoulders. Keep going like that. The next time that the arms open up, also lift into a bridge shape. So we'll lift the hips up, arms will get wide, and then we'll lower our back down and the arms will come in. We'll lift the hips up, arms wide, lower the back down, arms in. Keep going. 3 more. 1, 2, and 3. When the back comes down, take the arms down. Now take the squishy ball away if you've got it, and make sure your weights stay nearby. Lift your legs again one at a time into tabletop, and then lift your arms up so that the wrists are over top of the shoulders. We're gonna start with our marching again. Let's just do marching. Don't worry about the arms. One foot taps down and lifts, and then the other foot taps down and lifts. Keep the back long, keep looking straight up. Now, opposite arm to leg is gonna reach back behind you. So opposite arm to leg, stretching backwards. Keep breathing slow and steady. If it's helpful, just exhale as the leg and the arm lift. Inhale as the leg and the arm tap back. Good. We do a lot of repetitions, really getting the muscles strong. We're gonna almost be doing the same thing, but let your arms open out to the side as your toes come down. So opposite arm to leg opens out to the side. Almost the same, but just I find a little bit more challenging to have your arm moving out away from midline. Gives the core a touch more of a challenge. If it feels like, oh, that feels like too much of a challenge, come back to letting the arm stretch back behind you, or do the movement with the arm without the weight. Up to you. Really good job. I know it's a lot of repetition. Try and keep your breath slow, keeping the movement slow. The next time that your left leg and right arm lift back up, let that be the last. And then keep the arms up, place one foot down to the ground, then the other. Turn your palms to face forwards. Then we're just gonna let the arms place down beside us. And then we're gonna lift the arms right back up again. 2 more times. Place the arms down beside you and then lift the arms back up. 1 more time, arms placed down and then lift back up. This time the arms will just place down and you'll place the weights to the ground. Let your right leg stretch to the ceiling and then catch behind the leg with your hands. Make some circles with your ankle now, keeping your back long, making sure that the head is touching the ground, the shoulders are touching the ground and the low back. Good, and then point your toes straight up to the ceiling. Now extend your left leg long on the ground. Good, then keep your legs as they are, take your arms down to the ground. Coming back to work for the core. We're gonna start to let your left leg lift up as your right leg comes down. And then let your left leg lower down as your right leg lifts up. Keep going like that. One leg down, one leg up. Keep going. Just getting my other AirPod. Good work. Trying to keep your legs long. Left leg is up and the right leg is down. Hold that. Hold the back of your left leg and just bend your right knee, right foot to the ground. Make circles with your left ankle now. Good, and then pause that movement of the foot. Take your arms just down to the ground. Bend your left knee, foot to the ground. Stretch your right arm behind you on the floor. We're gonna roll over. We're really taking our time to come all the way up. We're gonna roll over to the right side. Use your left hand to push yourself all the way up. Then we're gonna try to have our feet forwards. If we can, we're gonna try to stand up from this position. You might need to take your feet over to the side to stand up. You might need a chair. We're gonna try to lean some body weight forwards and it pushes yourself into like a low squat. And then we're trying to push all the way up to stand. It's really hard to get up off of the floor. Okay, so then have your feet a little bit more than hip distance apart. Toes just slightly wider than your heels, and we're gonna come into a few squats. So we're gonna sit down, arms will stretch back. Make sure your knees and your toes are going the same direction, and then stand all the way up and lift off of the heels. We're gonna let the heels come down, sit all the way down, make sure the knees and the toes are going the same way, and we're gonna stand all the way up, heels will lift up. Heels come down and then sit, arms reach, and then stand all the way up, the heels will lift. Now let the heels come down, sit down, we're gonna stay there. Turn your palms to the ground, one arm at a time. Right arm is gonna pull backwards and then reach forwards. Left arm's gonna pull backwards and then reach forwards. Right arm back and forwards, left arm back and forwards. Right arm back. Good, and forwards, last one, left arm back and forward. Stand all the way up, lift your heels up off the ground. This time heels will come down. Now it's gonna look like we're gonna do almost the same thing. We're gonna just sit down. And then I want you to imagine that your thighs are pulling apart, like right and left, but I don't want there to be much movement. I'll even face to the camera. When my thighs pull apart, you can just see them move really slightly. And then the whole outsides of the legs are going to be working, and the outsides of the glutes are working. I'll relax, watch really carefully if you want to see movement, because there's almost no movement. When I relax, the legs just pull in a little bit. But when I'm active, the legs just slightly pull out. So maybe you can't see any movement, depending, especially if you're looking on the screen, but there's slight movement. When the legs are active and pulling out, I could stay here for a super long time, like a long time, because the outer glutes are holding my weight. You come back down into it. The outer glutes are holding the weight, and there's no, like, I could just stay for a long time. The back shouldn't feel anything. Do you think you could stay a really long time? It's hard work, right? And then stand all the way up, and should feel like the outsides of the legs were really active, yeah? Okay, so then just start to lean side to side, and we'll just continue work for the outer glutes. When we're walking and getting up the stairs, getting out of a chair, we're using the backs of the glutes to, I hope, lift you up. Like if you're getting up, the back of the leg should lift you. If you're getting up the stair, if the back of the leg isn't lifting you, then it's probably the front of the hip. Then your hips will be really sore. So it's just less likely that the side glutes are super strong, because we don't really take side to side actions like this that often. So maybe you can start to feel it already, just leaning side to side. And something really easy, this movement that you can just do maybe at your kitchen counter, if you're waiting for water to boil, or just, I don't know, waiting for something that just takes like a minute. Taking this for a minute really gets the outer glutes strong. And it's only our own body weight, and you don't need anything except for 1 minute of time. So the next time we lean over, I'll mirror you leaning over onto the right side. We're gonna stay there. And then I want you to try to let your left leg actually slide forwards, and then just back so that the ankle's in line with the hip, and then forwards again, and then back. And you can see my shoulders have passed where my hip is. One more time like this, really working on outer glute strength. And we're gonna tip over onto the left leg. The right leg is gonna lift. My shoulders are past my hip. I'm gonna slide my leg forwards, my right leg, and then back. Sliding it forward and back. One more time, forward and back. We're gonna cross. If you have a wall near to you, you can grab it. We're gonna just cross one ankle over the other thigh to get a stretch for the outer glutes. We didn't do too much on the outer glutes, but even just taking our squat, sitting low, trying to let the thighs pull apart, and just tipping side to side, probably feels like really active. Let's just stand up and switch. I mean, for me, it feels quite active and tired now at the outer glutes. So hopefully you can feel it too. Make sure that you've switched legs. Only sit down as much as you need, especially after taking the strength just now. You probably don't need to sit as low as you like even usually. Good, and then stand all the way up. You're all finished. Thanks for coming. I'll see you next week.